Go ahead. Wait.
Are you kidding me?
So we had a contestant, and it is publicly known this contestant is blind.
Yep, guilty as charged. I am the contestant in question that Rin is talking about. For what it's worth, I think my perspective can add a little to what Rin is saying, so I will talk about my experience with that entire tournament. By publicly known, Rin means the people who were there. I mean, obviously my close friends and family, but as far as the event was concerned, just the people who were there. And maybe a few people who've seen my Twitter account that I created very recently. So not a lot of people, just the staff there, that's about it. Now, to clarify things a little bit, I'm not completely blind. To make it easier to understand though, I'll lay out a diagram. So here on the right, you have sighted people who can see normally without any extra help. And then on the left, are blind people who cannot see anything at all completely. They cannot tell when the lights are on or off. They absolutely need a cane or a guide dog to move around. And in the middle, you have visually impaired people. This is when you have vision loss that cannot be corrected with things like glasses, but you still have usable vision. Now, there's a reason why I laid out things the way I did in this diagram, right? The dotted line means it's not exactly concrete. Doctors have quantified it in a way, but even then, as a person with vision impairment, it's not quite that concrete in my opinion. So people can be blurred between the lines, or they can be anywhere in between. I'm teetering around here, on this line.
The interesting thing that they did was we had a blind contestant, and we've done everything to accommodate them being there, right? So we had a PC set up for them. We did different things just to get them on stage, and we had someone helping them out and do some stuff like that, right? It was really cool. I was actually very impressed with how they were able to get this to work.
Now, I didn't need much. All I really needed was for them to have a certain software to work with my mouse, so that my mouse can zoom in and out without me having to use two hands, because that's kind of annoying and it takes a bit more time.
Now there were some issues though with that. Because he had to zoom in on the screen a lot, right? To see things, they didn't show his screen for the first half because it kind of broke the setup and layout. But I was like, that, who cares? Just throw it up on there, right?
This never occurred to me as a problem, because if you just stream the game itself and not the monitor, then no matter how much I zoom, it will never show me zooming because it's streaming the game, not the monitor. For those of you who don't understand, here's a demonstration. Okay, to demonstrate, if I stream, my screen is recording the monitor right now. If I zoom in, you will see that OBS also zoom in, right? See, if I zoom in, you see the screen move with the OBS screen. However, let me just switch the scene real quick. So now OBS is streaming Genshin, and if it's streaming the game itself and not the screen, you will see that it doesn't zoom in. It just stays. Even though the screen is currently zoomed in right now, as you can tell, the OBS screen still has the full game. But while I was playing a test game with my opponent, Kaori in top 8, one of the tech guys just came up to me and Hatsu, are you going to zoom when you play? And I was like, yeah, I will be zooming in quite a bit. It's not a problem, right? Because you just stream the game instead of the monitor itself, and then there's gonna be no issue. And dude was straight up no, and then just turned around and just walked away. I was like, did I say something wrong? But here's my theory, right? I don't actually know, but I think they are not using software to stream. They are using hardware. So what I'm guessing is that these monitors are connected via some sort of cable magic whiz that we don't see behind the scenes to the master monitor, and then the output of the master monitor is like being streamed to what the viewer is gonna see. So since they're streaming via hardware, they don't have the option of streaming just the game. They just have to stream the entire output of the screen itself.
But what sucks was that no one knew that in like a bunch of different streams. I know in the Aster Carnival stream, someone knew like, oh, he's blind. This is why he's doing that. Everyone's like, oh, that's really cool. The other streams had no idea. And they were kind of being kind of rude about it. And it's like, there's nothing you can really do. It's like, do we say this? Do people know about this? It's just like, I don't know. I think we should have just gone with it like right off the bat.
So I knew this was gonna happen the moment they decided to show my screen with me doing other zooming and stuff. Right before the second match, a staff came up to me and asked me if I was okay with them showing my screen on the stream, right? And I told them, listen, it's gonna be very bad for the viewer experience, but you know, if you think that's the best decision, then go for it. I don't care. It kind of felt like they were stepping on eggshells when they were asking me that, because I guess it's understandable because they don't know if me being blind is something I want other people to know, right? Maybe in the past I would have seen it more negatively and like want to avoid as many people knowing as possible. But now that I lived a bit longer, I realized that to have any meaningful connection and communication with other people, they're gonna know that I'm blind sooner or later. So I might as well just lay my cards out on the table in the open, like right off the bat. It will save people who interact with me and myself a lot of time.
The blind contestant accidentally got up. So when you lose the match, you're supposed to sit in your chair, right? But because one of the losers from the previous match also stood up when they weren't supposed to and came up to the stage, I had to quickly improvise something like, okay, time to interview the loser. I wasn't supposed to do that. So because the blind contestant also went up on the stage but didn't have anyone helping him, I got a message in my ear saying, hey, he got up, someone's gotta help him, you gotta help him. So there was probably a point during the stream where you see me just like run off while talking to this guy. I look like an absolute fucking idiot, but I had a reason. There was a reason for that, because I just wanted to make sure he was safe and didn't like fall off the stage or something, right? I know people like made fun of me for that and cringed, but I was like, whatever, this is better. But still, it hurts. I was like, oh no. It's so bad.
You know, Rin, if trying to make sure that somebody is safe is being idiotic, then I wish there were a few more idiots in this world. Hell, I'll play the fool along with them. No reason to be hurt by that. Now, I could see a little bit more than everyone there think I could. Like, I could see enough to get myself off the stage and the steps to, like, go to the seating area. But they don't know that. Of course they don't. They've known me for, like, a day and a half, so it's fine, it's understandable. Now by this point, some of you are probably wondering, why doesn't Hatsu have a cane? And I will get to that at the end when I summarize all my thoughts, so... Okay, let's backtrack a little bit to that loser standing up accident thing. So we have a rehearsal day before the stream day. So we flew in on Friday, we had a rehearsal day on Saturday, and then stream was on Sunday. The rehearsal was very minimal. All we really practiced was the intro that you guys saw, and like if you make it to the semifinals, you do the walk and everything. They didn't say shit about not getting up if you lose. Like, I talked to the other participants, they said that they didn't get told that before, like right before the match. So I'm gonna call the staff out on this. If you want us to not stand up when we lose, tell us during the rehearsal. Bro, we're playing chess with RNG here. Like, that takes a lot of mental power, and then right before the match you give us one more thing to consider on top of the games that we have to play. Like, of course there's a very high chance I will forget about it. But yeah, I was never told that, not even right before my match. So regardless of whether the semi-finalists that lost before me stood up or not, like I would have stood up anyways, and like the same thing would have happened. People were saying that they didn't tell me because, you know, since the other loser got an interview, like they wanted to be fair, but I didn't know anything about that. I just don't know. But I will shout out Rin though. After the rehearsal, we went sightseeing LA. At least those of us who've been to LA, that was our first time. We went sightseeing. We went to a really good sushi place for dinner. and we went back home to the, well, not back home, back to the hotel. You know, I was getting ready for bed, showered, slept under the blanket, and then I saw a message on our Discord group chat. It was from Rin. It said, "Hey guys, I just got out." And I was like, "You just got out? You've been there the entire day?"
I got to meet Atsu, I got to meet Tuano, both very chill people. Tuano especially. I'm the most chill person I've ever fucking met. He was just so laid back about everything. It was so fun. Poor Atsu though, he wasn't feeling very good that day though. He's kind of under the weather.
Rin's spitting the truth, guys. Tuano is so chill. It was kind of funny because at first I just talked to him and I didn't know it was him because, well, I couldn't see far enough. Like, he was across the room, so I couldn't see far enough to recognize his face. So like I just talked, and then like a minute in, it was like the other person who was talking to him was like, "Oh, hey, that's him." And I was like, oh, you're Jake. You're the guy who's on YouTube with like a couple tens of like hundreds of thousands of followers. And I was like, oh, okay.
Other than just like the few like oops and me looking like an absolute fool on the stage.
Did Rin just summarize my entire life in a single sentence? Fuck. Jokes aside though, talking about moments where you look like an absolute fool on stage, I've got one for you.
Honestly, I hope you can try to keep up, man. Good luck.
All right. Go ahead. Wait.
Okay, so at that moment his hand was like outside my field of vision, so I just didn't see it, and my brain was like, oh, I heard Rin say go ahead, so all right, let's just go get the game started. But she meant for the handshake, not to start the game.
The odds are never in your control, you know? This is RNG. The dice may never be the dice you want.
Jake, you piece of... okay, I take all the compliments back I said about Toronto. You were the reason I cringed dice 3 rounds in a row during my second game. Are you fucking kidding me?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Okay, so I kind of just glossed over this because I didn't want to go on a huge tangent, but I did bring a cane. There was no way I was going somewhere new that I knew like nothing about and not have a cane when I need it. But the thing is, I usually don't use a cane. I don't need it a lot of the time. The one situation where I really need it is when a brightness dips below a certain level. So when it gets dark enough, my eyes just can't adjust, and that's when I will need to use a cane. But you see, in the past, I've had a notorious history of bringing a cane somewhere, sitting down, setting the cane down, and then when I'm done with whatever I'm doing, I left, and the cane did not leave with me. So the last thing I wanted was to bring my cane up there, play my games, and then just leave the stage, and then realize I didn't have my cane, and then run back up like a fool and get all of that caught on camera, and you know, Rin's biggest fear apparently. But you might have noticed that I didn't do the walk because I guess the staff was too afraid of letting me go backstage, because back there it was definitely dark enough for me to need my cane. I did ask to see if I could use my cane and walk anyways like everyone else did, but the procedure was you're supposed to follow the cameraman with the lights and everything right in front of you. But since I can't do that because I can't see the ground, the cameraman will have to match my pace. And there was like small drops on either side of the platform, so they were afraid I might fall, so they just kind of went with the easier and safer option of just having me stand out there to begin with. Okay, what else did I miss? Oh, the thing where Rin say people were being rude about it on other streams because they didn't know. That's par for the course. The tech guy told me that he thinks what I did was pretty cool, and Rin also said that she thinks it was really cool. I think it's cool too. I think it's amazing that technology allowed someone like me who normally barely see anything to compete in an esports tournament like this. I think that's awesome. But we also have to consider the viewer's experience, and when, you know, you're normally supposed to see all the cards, all the dice, and then suddenly the screen just starts flying randomly and you don't see where the cards or the dice are, you would be slightly annoyed. Or, well, maybe a little bit more than that for some people. So yeah, I can understand that, and I don't really mind it. I have no shame, really, for my blindness, or for anything for that matter. If I mess up somehow and did something cringeworthy, I would just laugh at it, and maybe make it into a YouTube video later down the line or something. Overall though, zero regrets. Despite all the quote-unquote troubles that might have happened. I didn't even think there was any trouble when I was there, but I just hope that I didn't cause too much trouble for other people. More than the tournament though, I valued exploring LA a lot more because it was a place I've never been to before. But there was something worth exploring even more than LA. The other 7 participants that were there with me. I talked to everyone and would love to interact with them more given the chance. I might venture as far as saying I made a few new friends. Maybe. Everybody's friendship standards is a bit different, so I'm not gonna assume that they consider me one, but yeah, I think I really had a good time. Other than the fact that I cringe died 3 rounds in a row! But it was kind of a big event in my life, and I'm glad I did it. And it's not like I'm writing a song about this whole experience with another participant who was there or anything like that. Bring a cane. There was no way I was going somewhere new that I knew like nothing about and not have a brain. And not have a brain. And not have a cane when I need it.